whereas the individual soul cannot do so. The super soul, being seated in everyone's heart, can witness everyone's activities, past, present, and future. In the Upanishads, the super soul is described as being seated with this individual soul as friend and witness. As a friend, the Lord is always anxious to get back his friend, the individual soul, and bring him back home, back to Godhead. As a witness, he is the bestower of all benedictions. He endows each individual with the result of his actions. The super soul gives the individual soul all facilities to achieve whatever he desires to enjoy in this material world. Suffering is a reaction to the living entity's propensity to try to lord it over the material world. But the Lord instructs his friend, the individual soul, who is also his son, to give up all other engagements and simply surrender unto him for perpetual bliss and eternal life full of knowledge. This is the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita, the most authorized and widely read book on all varieties of yoga. Thus the last word of Bhagavad Gita is the last word in the perfection of yoga. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that a person who is always absorbed in Krishna consciousness is the topmost yogi. What is Krishna consciousness? As the individual soul is present by his consciousness throughout his entire body, so the super soul or Paramatma is present throughout the whole creation by super consciousness. This superconscious energy is imitated by the individual soul, who has limited consciousness. I can understand what is going on within my limited body, but I cannot feel what is going on in another's body. I am present throughout my body by my consciousness, but by my consciousness is not present in another's body. The super soul of Paramatma, however, being present everywhere and within everyone, is also conscious of everyone's existence. The theory that the soul and the super soul are one is not acceptable because it is not confirmed by authoritative Vedic literature. The individual soul's consciousness cannot act in super consciousness. This super consciousness can be achieved, however, by dovetailing individual consciousness with the consciousness of the Supreme. This dovetailing process is called surrender or Krishna consciousness. From the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we learn very clearly that Arjuna in the beginning did not want to fight with his brothers and relatives, but after understanding Bhagavad Gita, he dovetailed his consciousness with the super consciousness of Krishna. He was then in Krishna consciousness. A person in full Krishna consciousness acts by the dictation of Krishna. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, dictation is received through the transparent medium of the spiritual master. When one is sufficiently trained and acts in submissive faith and love for Krishna under the direction of the qualified spiritual master, the dovetailing process becomes more firm and accurate. This stage of devotional service by the devotee in Krishna consciousness is the most perfect stage of the yoga system. At this stage, Krishna or the super soul dictates from within, while from without the devotee is helped by the spiritual master, who is the bona fide representative of Krishna. From within he helps the devotee as Chaitya, for he is seated within the heart of everyone. Understanding that God is seated within everyone's heart is not, however, sufficient. One has to be acquainted with God from both within and without, and one must take dictation from within and without to act in Krishna consciousness. This is the highest perfectional stage of the human form of life, and the topmost perfection of all yoga. For a perfect yogi, there are 8 kinds of super achievements. One can become lighter than air, one can become smaller than the atom, one can become bigger than a mountain, one can achieve whatever he desires, one can control like the Lord, and so on. But when one rises to the perfectional stage of receiving dictation from the Lord, that is greater than any stage of material achievements above mentioned. The breathing exercise of the yoga system, which is generally practiced, is just the beginning. Meditation on the super soul is just another step forward, but to obtain direct contact with the super soul and to take dictation from him is the highest perfectional stage. The breathing exercises of meditation practiced were very difficult even 5,000 years ago. Otherwise Arjuna would not have rejected the proposal of Krishna that he adopt this system. This age of Kali is called the fallen age. In this age, people in general are short-living and very slow to understand self-realization or spiritual life. They are mostly unfortunate, and therefore if someone is a little bit interested in self-realization, he's likely to be misguided by so many faults. The only way to realize the perfect stage of yoga is to follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita as practiced by Lord Chaitanya. This is the simplest and highest perfection of yoga practice. Lord Chaitanya demonstrated this Krishna consciousness, yoga system, in a practical manner simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, as prescribed in the Vedanta, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and many important Puranas. The largest number of Indians follow this yoga process, and in the United States, it is gradually spreading in many cities. It is very easy and practical for this age, especially for those who are serious about success in yoga. No other process of yoga can be successful in this age. The meditation process was possible in the Golden Age. Satya Yuga, because people in that age used to live for hundreds of thousands of years, If one wants success in practical yoga practice, it is advised that he take to the chanting of
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
And he will actually feel himself making progress. In Bhagavad Gita, this practice of Krishna consciousness is prescribed as Rajavidya, or the king of all erudition. Those who have taken to this most sublime Bhakti Yoga system, who practice devotional service and transcendental love of Krishna, can testify to its happy and easy execution. The four sages, Sanaka, Sanandana, and Sanatkumara, also became attracted by the features of the Lord and the transcendental aroma of the dust of his lotus feet, as already described in verse 43. Yoga necessitates controlling the senses, and Bhakti Yoga, or Krishna consciousness, is the process of purifying the senses. When the senses are purified, they are automatically controlled. One cannot stop the activities of the senses by artificial means, but if one purifies the senses by engaging in the service of the Lord, the senses not only can be controlled from rubbish engagement, but can be engaged in the Lord's transcendental service, as aspired to by the four sages, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanatkumara. Krishna consciousness is not therefore a manufactured concoction of this speculative mind. It is the process enjoined in Bhagavad Gita 9.34. Manmana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru.
Yeah, so there's a long purport, but in this long purport, Prabhupada very systematically analyzes the connection between yoga and Krishna consciousness, and also he calls out on the modern yoga practices. So this is a very good purport actually for bridge preaching. When anybody wants to do some yoga studio or yoga thing, the whole studio should be set up based on this purport. Prabhupada actually makes very, very clear that how to utilize yoga for preaching. The whole studio can be set up based on the principles which is given in this purport. It's a very, very interesting and enlightening purport. It does not discount yoga, but at the same time, it clearly makes a person understand that what is the purpose of yoga, how far what is practical, and what can be easily done. So if we try to utilize these principles, then it is very good for preaching. Instead of trying to concoct some method of trying to attract followers, those who are interested in yoga, instead of trying to follow them by some method of concoction. If we try to use the principles given in this purport, then it's very, very easy. And we will also give them opportunity to practice yoga, but at the same time, we will also keep them in proper consciousness. So therefore, this purport is worth studying many times and trying to understand how it can be utilized, how the different aspects of this purport can be utilized for preaching, especially those who are interested in yoga. Okay, please read.
This verse of Srimad Bhagavatam describes person who are expected to be a very expert yogi engaged in the meditation, but who do not find the Supreme Personality of Godhead seated within the earth. These persons are described here as Duratma, which means a person who has a very crooked heart or a less intelligent person, just opposite to the Mahatma, which means one who has broad heart.
So if someone utilizes yoga not for finding the super soul, then he is called a Duratma. Okay, please continue, Prabhuji.
Here, suppose it is Sanatana Kumara, Sanatana, Sananda, and Sanaka are described as actually sincere devotee, although they had heard from their father Brahma about the personal feather of the Lord. Only the impersonal feather Brahman was revealed to them.
Is it clear now that they heard from their Lord, their father, about the personal feature of the Lord, but what was revealed to them? Only impersonal feature was revealed to them. That's why they were Brahmavadis. But now they are actually seeing the Lord, so that impersonal conception is gone.
Brahma was revealed to them. But because they were sincere searching for the Lord, they finally saw his personal feather directly, which corresponded with the descriptions given by their father. Those become fully satisfied.
So they become satisfied. Okay, please read.
So, for this purpose, two things are mentioned. One is like previously for complex. One is seeing the Lord within heart and seeing the Lord face to face. They say both are different. What does it mean? Like at a very advanced stage, one can actually see the Lord face to face. Whereas otherwise, one is only able to see the Lord in the heart. I think we did not read those purpose maybe.
Yeah.
What
So,
does that distinction mean?
See, the point is that seeing the Lord in the heart means just realizing the Paramatma. Seeing the Lord face to face means realizing Bhagavan. So there is difference between Paramatma realization and Bhagavan realization. Because Paramatma realization means you are only realizing the Lord within the material atmosphere. Bhagavan realization means you are realizing the Lord in the spiritual atmosphere. So therefore, there is difference between these two. When a man is advancing, then as a first stage, he could actually realize the Lord within the material atmosphere. Then later stage, when he becomes mature, then only he can actually realize the Lord in the spiritual atmosphere. Because he is acquainted with material atmosphere and he sees that the material atmosphere is controlled. And who is controlling the material atmosphere? If he looks for that person who is controlling the material atmosphere, he will easily reach to Paramatma. Even conceptually, people understand that there is control of the material world. Even scientists also understand, no, the material world is controlled. They understand. Everyone understands this material world is controlled. But deliberately, the modern science doesn't want to look towards God. Doesn't want to look towards the controller because it doesn't make any sense for them. Because the whole modern economy and modern science is simply built on atheism. So if they accept God, then the whole basis of economy will simply get dismantled. So they don't want to look at God. They want to look on the opposite side. They want to try to prove that this control is all randomly come. It's all randomly happen. It's a random event. Okay.
Like Prabhupada is saying, devotees being elevated in love of God.
Yeah.
She Shamashundara, the Supreme Personality of God, is within their hearts. But when they are mature, the same God is visible before them face to face.
Correct.
In the material world itself.
Face to face means like that in the material world itself is you are adding or the Lord Prabhupada is writing?
No, I am asking.
No. See, the point is when he is saying that they see the Lord face to face, that means they are entering into the pastimes of the Lord.
Okay.
Initially, the Lord is revealed to them as Paramatma.
Shamashundara, no?
Just saying, initially the Lord is revealed to a person as Paramatma. Okay. But when one becomes advanced in devotion, the same Lord is revealed to them as Bhagavan in the heart. Okay.
I mean, they are able to close and see the form of the Lord, something like that.
Yeah, they are able to see the Lord's form in the heart.
In the heart means how to see in the heart.
That unless you see, you can't know. There is no process like that. The only process is that one should anoint the eyes with the tinge of love. So love of Godhead should come. Then one will be able to see the Lord in the heart. Then one is able to enter the spiritual world, where they are able to see the Lord face to face.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the steps. So in the second canto, we go through the steps. The first step in God realization. Then, what is second chapter? What is the title of second chapter?
Lord in the heart.
Lord in the heart. What is the title of third chapter?
Pure devotion.
Devotional service. See, the second canto actually takes us through this process. That first you actually see the Lord in the material world. Like Krishna says, I am the taste of water, I am the light of the sun and moon, I am the fragrance of earth, I am the ability in men, I am Omkara, and I am so many things. I am the sex pleasure which is not against dharma. So these are all realization of Krishna in the material world, in the material realm itself, in matter, seeing God in matter. Okay. Then seeing God in the heart. Second part is seeing the Lord in the heart. Then third part is seeing the Lord face to face.
And that same thing Prabhupada is saying, devotee constantly sees the Lord within his heart, and in a more mature state see the Lord directly as we see everything.
Yeah.
So directly means in the spiritual world.
Yeah, that's spiritual world. Okay, please read.
It is said that one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead when one is even slightly favored by Him.
Yeah, Prasada Leshanu Grihita Eva. He said that Leshanu Grihita means that even by slight mercy of the Lord, we can understand Him. Janati Tattvam Bhagavan Mahimno Nachanya Ekopi Chiram, which in one. That by studying the Vedas for a long time, one cannot understand Krishna. But even if one understand, Atapite Deva Padampude Dvaya Prasada Leshanu Grihita Evahi. Even when one gets slight mercy of the Lord's lotus feet, then Janati Tattvam Bhagavan Mahimno. One can actually understand the glories of Krishna.
Which canto Prabhu this was?
This 10th canto.
This mercy can be perceived by the devotee when he is completely freed from contamination. It is stated, therefore, that only when all contamination is rooted out and the devotee is completely detached from material attractions, can he receive this mercy of the Lord.
Tesham Tantagatam Papam Jananam Punyakarmanam Te Dvandamoha Nirmurta Bhajante Mam Dridavata. So what is the first condition? Tesham Tantagatam Papam. Second, Jananam Punyakarmanam. Punyakarmanam means those who take up regulative activities of devotional service. So what is the effect of this? They become free from Dvanda and Moha. Te Dvanda Moha Nirmukta. Then Bhajante Mam Dridavata. So it's a scientific process. Okay, please read.
When Lord Chaitanya was talking with Ramananda Rai, there were varieties of suggestions offered by Ramananda regarding spiritual realization. Lord Chaitanya rejected all but one. That one should hear the glories of the Lord in association with pure devotee.
So Ramananda Rai, this is a very famous conversation. Ramananda Rai made various suggestions about what is the perfection of life. Then when Ramananda Rai made this suggestion that one should actually hear the glories of the Lord, then Lord said, yes, this is good. This is good. Before that, Lord was saying, oh, this is all external. This is all external. Many things he was saying, this is all external. First, he said that one should simply follow Varnashram, and by following Varnashram, one should please the Supreme Lord. He said, oh, this is external. Please tell me further. So, rejection means that he actually, he also said that this is external contact. That's what he said. That's the rejection.
The four sages now offer the humility to the personality of Godhead because of their having been haughty in cursing two other devotees of the Lord. Jai and Vijay, the two doorkeepers who checked them from entering the Vaikuntha planet, were certainly offenders. But as Vaishnavas, the four sages should not have cursed them in anger.
You see, now the tune is changing. Previously, what was the tune? The tune was Jai Vijay made mistake, Jai Vijay made mistake, they had to be cursed, that was the tune. Now you see the tune has slightly changed. They made mistake, but the four sages should not have cursed.
First.
And then now, this also said the four sages have been haughty. Haughty means ill-behaved. They have been haughty in cursing the two other devotees of the Lord. You see, now slowly the presentation of the subject matter is changing.
You know, why the Kumaras are praying that let we be born in hellish condition of life?
Because they understood that they made mistake, and they actually cursed the two doorkeepers to be born in hellish condition of life.
Okay.
So that's a mistake. Actually, if you remember, in the first canto, there is the conversation between Dharma and Parikshit.
Yes.
Okay? So Parikshit asked Dharma that who is the perpetrator of offense against you? He asked. So what did Dharma reply?
So immediate cause,
What did Dharma reply?
Some people say this.
Dharma said, oh, this guy Kali, he only caused all the trouble for us. No. What did he say?
I am the cause.
no, the one who
Yeah.
identifies the
Yeah, the
perpetrator
perpetrator.
will get the reaction of that.
No, that Dharma didn't say that.
He did not say.
No?
Dharma didn't say that.
He's saying that.
No.
No.
Dharma didn't say that.
But it's there in the perpetrator.
So they
Dharma didn't say that. The statement is there,
Uh-huh.
but the statement was not told by Dharma.
Okay.
Dharma said that it is very difficult to identify the cause of one's trouble
Yes.
because different philosophers speak
Yes.
differently about the cause of one's trouble.
Yes.
This is what Dharma said.
Yes.
Yes.
Dharma didn't say anything else. He said, you are asking me who is the cause of my miserable condition? O great king, it's extremely difficult to ascertain who is the cause of my miserable condition because different philosophers present different opinion about the cause of one's misery. Nor did he identify Kali as the cause of his misery, who was the immediate cause, who was actually causing him misery. He didn't identify him as cause of misery. He simply said, it's very difficult to ascertain because different philosophers say different thing about what is one's cause of misery. Then it was Parikshit who said, after hearing this reply, Parikshit said, oh, you are replying like this, then you should be Dharma personified. Because you know the secret that one who identifies the perpetrator of misery, he will get the same punishment as
The perpetrator.
the perpetrator
Exactly.
himself. They are talking about the same principle.
Hmm.
You understand? They are exactly talking about the same principle. They identified the two doorkeepers as impostors and they punished them, saying that you should go to
Hell.
hellish condition. So because they identified them, now they understand that they also deserve the
Same person.
same punishment. You see, this is practical application of
Yes, yes.
what philosophy was spoken there.
Good question. One
Oh,
No,
is
but sometimes for good cause we can identify the perpetrator.
Yeah, but the what is that's I think I'm sure you discussed it at that time also. The point is that one may see in institution, one has a duty to call out someone who is doing something wrong. Okay, that's fine. But at the same time, if one identifies that person with as the nature of that person with that crime, then that is wrong. You understand? Somebody may take some money. Okay? Of course, nobody should take Prabhupada's money. Somebody may take some money. And if you come to know about this, it is your duty to call out that person, saying that, oh, this person has taken Prabhupada's money, please take some action. So to the authorities, it is your duty to call out. Right? But if you start thinking that this fellow is a thief, and he doesn't deserve to practice Krishna consciousness, he should be thrown out of this place, etc., etc., etc. If you start identifying the crime with that person and start branding him as criminal, then you deserve the same punishment. And this applies to everything.
So same to me also. When I identify others,
The point is, like, there are some natural authorities. Like, parent is a natural authority for a child. So, parent is meant to identify the discrepancy in the child's behavior and then correct the child's behavior. But when the parent starts thinking, oh, my child is a useless guy, he will never become devotee, that is wrong.
yeah, correct.
You understand?
Yes.
So, the point is that everybody has the opportunity to become Krishna conscious, and everybody is a rascal when they are in the material world. See, that is why we are in the material world. We should not have sometimes people say, oh, he is a nice person. Okay, if he is a nice person, he should be in spiritual world. The material world is not made of nice persons. Material world is made of criminals.
Criminals.
All of us are criminals. So within that, there is no question of somebody being a nice criminal and then somebody being not so nice criminal. When a person takes up to Krishna consciousness, that means he is trying to reform his criminal mentality. Right? So therefore, in that process, one may have some difficulty. So that means we should try to do something in such a way that protects him from that difficulty. That's what we should do. Like someone has a tendency to steal money, then we should actually give him some service where he will not come in touch with money, or he will not have the responsibility for keeping money. That doesn't mean that he should not get any service at all. Oh, he stole money, that means no service for him. It cannot be like that.
There is no service where he can steal money from the non-devotees.
We can have some service where he does not have an opportunity to deal with money. But there also, suppose if he says, like, you ask him, okay, you give Charnamrit. Okay. Then he is giving Charnamrit. And there also he is asking someone, no, I am giving you Charnamrit, give me 10 rupees. Do you understand? So just need some supervision, that's it. Like, and maybe a board saying that don't give money to those who are distributing Charnamrit. Maybe on board. Or whenever you give money to anyone, please make sure that you get a receipt. Just a board. Okay. So, but this is much better than giving the cash box to him. Just making him give Charnamrit. He can give Charnamrit, okay. And maximum what he can do, he can say this only. Let please give me 10 rupees. So that can be controlled also. By some education, by some announcement, by some supervision, this can be controlled. So we should give people service which does not give them opportunity to fall down with their sinful tendency. And at the same time, we should give them some service. Like someone has weakness with women, then we should put him in such a way that he is not dealing with women so much. It's not that we should not give any service at all, but we should put him in such a way, in such an environment where he doesn't have to deal with women so much. Okay, is it?
One may speak very nicely with ornamental language, or one may be expert at controlled grammatical presentation. But if one's words are not